Mainly because I've got confidence in my work, but not in myself. So as long as I keep working, I'll be confident. Yeah, pregnant's about technology addiction. And what happens when you don't leave the house ever, when you become house in prison, basically. And it's just happening to a lot of people these days. That's like the main problem, and that's what I want to talk about. So it's flashbacks on technology. So it's kind of like a history of technology and how it's kind of like dominated us and got more and more. Yeah. You know, it's so personal now. I mean, I saw this documentary on this family, and the woman was cheating on her husband with this guy that she never even met before in reality, and the husband knew about it and he was cool with it, so he was like, you know, go off and have your fun online because I know you're mine. But it's just like all the different aspects that go with technology, like the personal aspects, and yeah, I just think it's gotten out of control.
Yeah, it's a bit strange, isn't it? Like networks are opening up, but then they're closing down, aren't they, as well? Like, I mean, you don't find community centres or anything, do you?
Not anymore. A lot of them are closing down. Even like birthday parties. Do you think people still have many birthday parties as they used to?
Yeah. You know. Yeah, there doesn't seem to be that many social gatherings, really.
Yeah. I mean, it's kind of a pagan film. As like get back to nature, the pagan way.
So who's it going to involve?
Well, let's see. I've just done a scene with some anarchists. It's got a guy who jerks off while he's wearing a gas mask, and just never leaves the house. You know, he got stomach cancer, and that's kind of like when he started to hang out at home all the time. You know, and since then he just never leaves the house anymore. He doesn't need to. His family gives him money, and he just stays home all day wanking. And
how did you hear about him?
I just put an ad up saying looking for someone interesting whose life has taken a turn because of technology, and he came up.
Right,
yeah. I mean, you either meet them by accident, or you put out a casting call saying what you're kind of looking for. Yeah. It's very simple. In a week you can probably get like 30 people, and you just cherry pick what.
Just on Gumtree?
Yeah, all sorts. Gumtree, casting call, just like actors community. Because if I get someone who's an actor, they're not going to be acting, they're going to be playing themselves. So it doesn't matter where they're from, really. You know, as long as they're free and inhibited, basically.
So you're looking for people who've had a negative turn in their lives because of technology?
Oh, yeah.
Not a positive one. Because I worked with a blind woman, and technology really helped her, because you've got technology that can read, and then a blind person gets fed the words through headphones.
Oh, yeah.
So it's good in a lot of ways.
Yeah, it's great for learning, but socially it's just taken a different road, I think.
Yeah.
And there's this backstory in it where I'm in the desert and I'm slowly starving, and eventually I just die from heat exhaustion and starvation in the desert.
What do you think that is? Starvation of social contact?
You can look at it as anything, but it was filmed in Spain, near Sunseed, the commune near Murcia.
Do you think it's part of a bigger picture? Do you think like the governments have they're quite happy that a lot of people now go to work, come home and go on Facebook?
Mm-hmm. Oh yeah.
Because they're not challenging.
No, it keeps everyone under control.
Yeah.
It's like a new opium, you know.
It's not
like
really...
replace television.
Yeah.
But it's people's fault for falling for it. I got a bit of sympathy, but not much. Like you should be able to realise when you're being had and what you need in your life.
You should be able to see what it is really.
Yeah, exactly.
That you are just part of a social bloody experiment, or marketers are watching where people go and what they buy and that. And it's clearly for that, I think.
Oh yeah, I mean it goes for anything. Don't let it use you. You use it.
Yeah. So, what about other technologies? What other stuff are you looking at?
I don't know. It's based around, the whole film's based around social relationships and technology. I didn't really go into other aspects of it. I just want to focus on that one aspect, because otherwise it'd be another 2-hour film. So I want to just make it a bit shorter and more to the point. Like Black Biscuit it was just a free for all, wasn't it? It was punk, But it's going to be a bit more under control, but I'm still going to do what I want. So
you've had how many people come forward so far?
About 8 scenes.
Have you already?
Yeah, I mean once unedited, that'll probably be about 90 minutes. But I'm gonna get it more together and give it like a clearer path, because I've already done my out of control film. I'm not. It'd be a bit boring if I just made the same type of film, and it's not going to be under the Pink 8 manifesto. It's just going to be something completely different. I'm not going to label it this time. I'm just going to do what I want, and I'd like to try some different experiments when I'm like putting it together. Like Black Biscuit, I listened to like lots of exorcism tapes in the background, and I'd edit a scene with blindfolded, all sorts of stuff like that, and just cut it and then just splice it all together randomly. I don't know. Originally I was going to do it in black and white, but I can't do it. Some of I like colours too much. Like,
what do you use to edit it?
Just Adobe, just a bootlegged version of Adobe Premiere Pro. Yeah, I've got a new computer now, which is good there. Because the last one broke down so many times, I had to make Black Biscuit over twice.
Oh, did you?
Yeah. So for this one, I've got a new computer. Hopefully, it don't screw me.
So, do you think you'll ever do anything that's scripted?
Not all the way through.
No.
I don't mind doing like an occasional scene scripted. I like improvisation too much. It's more fun. It's more unexpected. You get newer things. I just feel like such a con artist if I'm filming a scripted scene. I think a lot of directors lie about how much their films are scripted anyway. You know that? I think it's like an insider secret among the film industry that we don't actually script. We say that we script it to make it seem a lot more difficult than it is. Yeah, because you don't know how much they're editing. They could be editing the whole thing. And you can tell when it's scripted, because it's a bit boring like that.
Depends on whether or not you're intending to come across with a message at the beginning, or yours are just organic, aren't they? What social messages stand out for you? Did you get any messages through any of it?
What, telepathically? Or?
No, like most films have got a moral message, haven't they?
Morals.
There's a moral message with a lot of filmmaking, or there's some kind of social message with most films, isn't there?
Yeah, I like to leave it a bit open-ended. I'm not very preachy when it comes to morals, because I don't have too many morals, so I can't really...
Do you think any messages come through, any social messages?
Yeah, that you die inside a bit if you don't see sunlight. I think that's the main message, which is kind of... I think that's the funny bit, the fact that I actually die in the film from too much sunlight.
Oh, right.
So it's a nice juxtaposition in a way. I do put thought into the films, like where I'm taking them, but once...
I met with Black Biscuit. Like, do you think any of the characters actually portrayed a social message? What did you pick up from any of them? Like, what did Dan...
I guess there were stereotypes, because everyone's a bit of a stereotype, aren't they? Yeah. Well, he was very good at logic, and logic is just common sense in a way. So, I guess his have common sense, but he didn't really have much common sense in life, though, did he? Like, I don't think he's a bad guy, but a lot of people wouldn't talk to him just because of his lifestyle, would they? I think that's a good thing about me. I'm like classless. I don't believe in this bullshit class system because I've lived in all these different countries, so I'm a lot more open to different types of people. But yeah, it's just Black Biscuit's more about how everyone's kind of boxed into a certain category. That goes a little bit with it, and it's about modern celebrities as well. Like, it was weird that Michael Jackson died in the middle of the film, and seeing his picture everywhere. I mean, you're not going to get more magazine front covers than Michael Jackson, you know. I think he got more than when Diana died, and he definitely got more than when the Pope died. So seeing how celebrity culture worked, and a lot of the characters were like, they were addicted to being on television as well, and it's a fact of life now, isn't it? It never used to be a fact of life, but now it is.
Okay, let's take one of the characters then. Let's take the woman who's the dominatrix. Now, what do you think she taught us through that screen? What do you think the message there was? Was it the one, or was it just about her life?
I think that was more about easy money and what money can buy. It's can buy anything. If you've got a really wild imagination, you can go online and there's something there that you can buy to achieve that goal. It's just joy, isn't it? That's kind of what it's just buying you. The message.
So she was training somebody, wasn't she?
To be an S&M mistress.
Yeah.
And I was the subject. Well, I wasn't the subject. I was the guinea pig that she practiced on.
Yeah. So what was the message? So that's her lifestyle, is it? And how did she contact you?
Well, I met her, and she used to be. She was a drama teacher, 20 years ago or whatever. So, but she was kind of theatrical even without being a drama teacher, you know. It was just under the role, wasn't it? It's an S&M mistress, so why? Might as well get a real S&M mistress instead of getting an actor to pretend.
But that's like acting anyway, isn't it? S&M mistresses.
Yeah.
They probably go back to their ordinary selves when they hang up the gloves.
Well, that was so great about her because she was like that all the time.
Oh, right.
Yeah. She was always she was always flirty, and she was always trying to like.
Oh, right, okay.
If you give me this, I'll do this to you. Yeah, it's a full-time job.
I didn't think you were actually. There was actually a story about you. I thought you just featured every now and again.
The story is, I'm a wannabe filmmaker in the movie, and one day I see this advertisement saying, "Oh, you can win a film competition." So the main character wants to be a film director, but he's working in the sex industry, so he's a bit torn between not making the money that goes with being in the sex industry while being an independent filmmaker. So it's like you go after your dream or you choose money. That's why the end scene of the movie, I'm fucking money, because that's what he's chosen. He didn't go after.
At the end,
Yeah, he's the last scene, and then I'm the coda basically.
What's the scene before then with you in it?
I have a gigolo job, and it's this girl who locks herself in the bathroom and she has a breakdown. And she's crying, and she's just insane.
I know the one whose bedroom you go into and there's posters on the walls.
The Johnny Depp superfan.
What's that about?
She's just a Johnny Depp superfan who's teaching me how to do Morris dancing.
Ah, right.
Mm-hmm. Which ties in with the whole, celebrity culture. She's a crazy Johnny Depp fan. There's just so many characters. I mean, you got the.
I don't recall that.
Yeah, it's an odyssey, and that's kind of what the character goes through. He chooses money in the end instead of his dreams. Because everyone has to kind of go through that crossroads in life, don't they? Where they're trying to figure out what they're going to do and all Yeah, exactly.
Whatever way you look at it, really.
Yeah, so, you know, pregnant's completely different. It's a completely different subject. It won't... Yeah, it's not... It won't beat you over the head like Black Biscuit will. Raw.
So you're looking at technology and relationships.
Yeah. See what happens with it. It doesn't live up to reality. I know there's these video games where you can just create like an alternative universe, like a fourth dimensional. Yeah.
Second Life or something.
There's all sorts. And you become someone else. Meanwhile, you're sitting at the computer obese and you haven't spoken to anyone for 2 weeks, you know.
Alright, now the usual practice, a lot of like the film industry, it's scripted and films go into festivals, people go for funding, etc, etc. And you've created something without any expectation of money. Now, do you think that this could be upsetting the film industry because it's going against the normal format?
Oh yeah, I think they're terrified. I think they'd be terrified knowing that what's going to come, and I'm sure they're all scurrying around, kind of like the people in the music industry are. They're lucky though, because obviously films are a lot longer than songs. So there's that whole thing of getting together and watching a movie. You can't really do that around a computer as much, but with songs, you know, you can carry them on your iPod. It's just easier to carry songs around, but movies, something is that will happen next. But as far as making movies on mobile phones and like cheap cameras and stuff like that, it's a building thing, isn't it? And that's kind of what I'm helping to push, because a lot of people don't want to do that.
The thing is though, ultimately most people who are doing artistic work, they want some kind of money, don't they? You want to make something out of your art, so like, where's the money going to come from?
But I don't need the money. Like, I've got my income that comes in from other sources, so I don't care if the movie doesn't make any money, and I don't need to make any money on it. That's why it's more pure that way.
Yeah.
If it became a 9-to-5 job, I wouldn't give a shit about it anymore. I just wouldn't be into making movies. I don't think if someone came to me with a script, I would not be into it 100% like I am with my films. My heart just wouldn't be in it, and then they'd become compromised by the amount of producers in it. I think you gotta have like your mark over the whole film. You gotta do the editing, you gotta do the sound mix, you gotta do the acting, you gotta do every single aspect of it. That's a real movie. All these collaborations, I think as a collaboration as you being weak, like I think you gotta be strong and complete the whole film yourself and not collaborate, because you don't need to collaborate. I mean, it's only a 90-minute film. I mean, if a person can't come up with enough ideas to finish a 90-minute film, I think they've got a problem. The collaboration thing is just lazy. I make my films all the way through.
When you say collaboration, are you talking about a producer coming together with the director? Because that's different disciplines, isn't it? The producer finds the means for filming, and the director leads, don't they? So it's different, really.
Not really, because the producer a lot of the time will want to be the director.
Oh, right. You think the producer restrains the director?
A lot of the time.
Right, okay.
It depends. I mean, there's been a lot of good movies made like that, but that's not how I work. So I haven't got anything against collaborations, but I just think it's a lazy way of making a film.
Yeah. I'm just thinking that regular filmmakers might get a bit like unsettled because you've come in with a new format, and you know, it's taking people away from, like I say, funding and whatnot. So
well, funding's been taken away anyway, so it doesn't really matter anymore.
It's difficult to get anywhere.
Yeah, and funding's a bit like begging. So why don't you just come up with the money yourself instead of having to beg for them to give you the money? And then they try to control the film anyway. So it's a form of censorship in a way, funding is.
Yeah,
This film cost about 500 quid to make, so £500 to make a feature film.
What was that 500 spent on?
Me buying people food and paying their travel expenses, that type of thing. That's just for the filming. I mean, I probably spent about £3,000 advertising, and that's nothing. And some of these companies spend millions on advertising, so £3,000 is completely nothing.
How's that been spent? What advertising have you spent the 300 on?
It's been in magazines, and it's been on promoting the trailer online. So
you've had to pay to do. You've had to pay that.
Yeah, getting the trailer onto certain websites.
Right.
You got to pay someone to do it. It's not all free like YouTube and stuff like that.
Yeah.
But it's good exposure, so
yeah.
You know. But £3,000 ain't nothing.
Yeah. And now you're getting you've had about 16,000 people see it.
Yeah.
Which is really good for an alternative film.
I guess so. I mean, there's a lot of these films from the past. I don't know. I mean, how many people saw Citizen Kane when it came out? It makes you wonder. It's like that many people these days. I mean, it's a bit scary. I mean, you get some of these songs like, what's his name? Like Gangnam Style. How many billions of people have seen that?
I know.
So how many people do you actually need these days to make a difference? Yeah.
Yeah. So, and people are contacting you, like, who's getting in touch with you?
Oh, like filmmakers or people that want to become filmmakers, fanzines, just random people that have seen the film. That's why I like to do it. I don't care about all this money shit that's involved in it. Just that someone's seen the film and has contacted me to say that they like it. That's good enough for me. That stuff like that will keep me making films.
And somebody has actually said that he's been influenced by you. He's actually quoted you, didn't he?
Oh yeah, I mean the last film. There's been a load of films made under the Pink Manifesto now, but the last one that came out was from Andrew Mackenzie from Scotland. He
did quote that himself, didn't he? That
it's like
Black Biscuit.
made under the Pink Cape Manifesto.
And what's that then? So you have to use a mobile. Is that right?
Mobile. Well, you got to be in the film.
You have to be in it.
Yeah, all sorts of things like that. But it's not like I set it up before I made the film. I went back on it afterwards, and I was like, I made the film this way, and I made a manifesto out of it. So I created one from my experience.
So the manifesto is like the guidelines for filmmaking. Yeah.
There hasn't been a good film manifesto probably since Dogma, and Pink Cape Manifesto is more outrageous than Dogma. Dogma kind of they pulled back. It wasn't completely real. I like Julian Temple a lot. I think he's a great British filmmaker. He made the Great Rock and Roll Swindle.
Oh right, yeah.
I think he doesn't get enough. A lot of people don't seem to talk about him anymore, but he's still alive and he's still making great work.
Right.
But I love him. I think he's fantastic. And I'm kind of picking up where Julian Temple left off, right. In English cinema anyway. But I like people like Dennis Hopper. Dennis Hopper's probably my favourite director. And Godard, Jonas Mekas, and even Andy Warhol's films. I think like new contemporary filmmakers, probably like Xavier Dolan and Harmony Korine and Vincent Gallo. Like I'm kind of like in their type of mold where they don't give a fuck about making money, but they're doing what they want to do. And that's what the type of films I'm going to make anyway. Maybe it's about getting out there and having loads of sex. That's the whole idea. It's showing the world like how beautiful it is out there, and to not stay inside and waste your life on the internet jerking off and playing around with keyboards and stuff like that. It's like get out there and meet some people.
So Black Biscuit Reeler, are you recording now? So it's a dichotomy then, because it's kind of, it was totally free, wasn't it, of backers, and it hadn't been scripted. So you were unrestrained in going out and making it, but then you felt restrained in editing.
Yeah.
But then I suppose that would be something that any film process would.
Oh yeah. I mean, I was still unrestrained because I could do whatever I wanted with the editing, but personally, like emotionally, like being by yourself, that kind of needed feeding again. So there's a bit of a balance.
But art, you work on your own anyway, don't you? I was having this conversation with somebody else, and all the artists mainly work alone anyway. You know.
I mean, I'm a bit of a loner though. Like, I've got my own ideas, and like, if I felt like doing something one day, I don't need to have like a friend with me. I can just go out and do it myself.
I'm quite alone as well.
Yeah. Like, if you can't be happy being by yourself, and what's the point? You can't always have companionship. You get it done quicker as well yourself.
Well, there's pros and cons, isn't there, if you work in a group?
But, I don't know, like sometimes when you get those like voting type of decisions, it's like a watered down idea. It's not a pure idea, it's a safe idea, because everyone has to agree with it, and it's not always the right one either. Fascism, if you do get the right leader, fascism will work. True.
Just do as I'm told. Do as you're told.
It depends what they ask you to do though. Like, that's what I mean. Like, if you have like the right leader, who's obviously in the fucking past, like people like Mussolini, they're fucking crazy to begin with. It's strange, like Obama, I don't know how for real he is. I'm sure he isn't, but his presentation's fucking immaculate. You can't hate the guy.
Tony Blair was like that though, he was a brilliant writer.
In the beginning was the word. Maybe good. I think the real solution is no government though. No government.
You have to have rules though. You can't have a lawless society, can you? How could anything work?
I don't know, I mean, we know what we need already, don't we?
How are you going to manage like housing and all the rest of it?
You just build it yourself. If you want it, you just build it yourself, like they do in Cuba. What's wrong with that? You know, if I want a house, I'll go and build a house. And the best thing is, I don't need to apply for anything, I don't need to buy anything. You just go out and do it. Not everybody's going to do it, because there's a lot of lazy people about. So it's going to be the same. It's like, get your shit together. Forget about the 9 to 5 existence. It's like, do it if you want to, and do it now. That's why DIY is so great. DIY should be a political movement. It never really got it though.